Hey everybody, it's Bridgette Lynn Dolgoff, Conscious of Economics and Urban Farm Project YouTube channel. Also, Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, my radio show. Carrying stones and digging holes to cultivate consciousness, and I have a co-host these days. And you probably, if you're on YouTube, you see the records from the show, and that is Kelsey Sweet. And I'm on Telegram now, Quantum Connective Medicine. That's my Telegram channel. Haven't really been posting a lot on Facebook. I'm just kind of, trying to navigate the idiots a little bit. Just can't do stupid anymore. And just a lot of stuff going on. So I've been actually writing more on my blogs, on my website, coe-llc.com. And then I have the Ministry of Consciousness Nevada.com. .org. Ministry of Consciousness.org. Hold on, let me shut the window. We have wind. It's very, very windy. Okay, so yeah, so I've got stuff on my blogs now that you can't really upload anywhere onto the net. And so just been blogging. Just seems to be easier and takes less time. So, go over there and see what's going on my blog, coe-llc.com. And I'm going to leave a link in the bottom of the YouTube video. So I'm super excited. And so I'm going to be calling this video Laramie or Bust. And so I'm going to be taking, a trip up there and seeing what's going on, because I would like to relocate up there by the end of summer, before winter. And because let me just tell you the story. So for the last 30 years, I've had this visions, that keep happening. And it's a certain type of looking town, and the landscaping and the way that it's designed, the forest and everything else. And I know that I definitely want to live over 7,000 feet elevation, definitely a snow baby. And also I just do better at higher elevations. I get exhausted when I'm at a lower elevation. So I definitely have like higher elevation genetics, I think. And I think it's, since I'm like a half Russian, pretty cold climate, hardy, just hardy. I'm tough. I'm badass. I'm a badass babe. Anyway, so I've been back running, which I'm really excited about. I've been, for the last, some odd years, 14 years, I've been rehabilitating myself from brain cancer. That was really difficult. It's been a long, long, long journey, and I've learned a lot, and I just have a lot of emotional stuff going on. And the last couple of weeks on my radio show, we've been talking about something that I hadn't told people, that I was human trafficked from age 17 to 18. And so that's finally, something I've never told anybody. And so that is finally coming out. So I'm just feeling really good and finally getting strong again, and want to get back like into rock climbing and just backcountry, whatever. I don't even really care. Backcountry skiing, camping, backcountry hacking. And I also really want to live in a place that's a small town, and has lots of places that I can go in nature, almost like I can just walk out in nature. Plus, I need a place that still is kind of a little bit, not pristine, but still has a lot of wild medicinal plants. Because, that's what I'm all about, is the herbal medicine and the wild crafting. And recently I learned something about myself. I'm in this medical herbal fellowship for 2 years, and I realized, like, I've done the clinic thing, I've done in clinic um type stuff, and I just realized like that really, like I still want to have that kind of in my future, get back kind of into clinic maybe once a week. But I also want to, even though that I'll bring in lots of nutrition and medicines and vitamins and things for people to buy that are, the best that I can get, a lot of my apothecary, I want it to be local plants, and I want to be able to also increase the local plants, and also have a land where I can bring in medicinal plants and I can grow them, and I can develop seed banks for medicinal plants to keep sharing, so that we can kind of rebuild some of the populations of herbs. So I also want to be a first contact person, and this is kind of a word that I've developed, a title that I've developed, where I'm first contact. So I'm dealing with the plants head on, their medicine, understanding them, in a very indigenous way. I mean, a lot of the work that I've been trained to do, spiritually, um, and being able to make medicines that way, so more kind of on a local scale, um, kind of a thing. So it's kind of good. I mean, I think that sometimes it takes you a long time to kind of find your way, but you have to feel it. Like, buying a lot of stuff and giving people coming into my practice, and then here, buy this, buy this, buy this, that's made from somebody else, doesn't really vibe that great with me. Even though, I'd be more than happy to sell things that I'm not making or that I can't help people with, right? I'm not opposed. There's no opposition here. But for the most part, I want to be able to vibe with people. I like take people out. And so I always tell this story. So a story about my grandmother, great grandmother, and about work with animals, and, people bringing in like a sick horse and to, her property, and her being able to take this horse out into the environment, right? And being able to allow the horse to pick out the herbs in the environment that the horse needs, or the horse she's tuned into picking it out, right? And then what she does, she has a big bundle, and she bundles everything that the horse, without raping the environment, right? Bundles things into the sack, comes back, has a big cauldron, cooks up, infuses the herbs, cooks them up, gives the water after it cools to the horse to drink. The horse drinks it for several days, gets better. And then when the people come to get the horse, then she, gives them a big bundle of the same herbs to be able to also continue to feed the horse, or, make a medicinal water from. So I like taking people out to look at plants, and I don't tell them what certain plants are, like growing along the river, but I like to look at the things that interest them about plants, and notice if they sit next to a plant, or they notice something about the plant, and they touch the plant, they look at it, because this is all like a vibrational thing where they're being attracted to something that they probably need, and also this plant may want to work with them. So how do you incorporate that? Well, my co-host, I'll just tell you kind of a quick story. We were at the river a couple weeks ago taking the dogs out, swimming and everything, and there was a dried stalk with a little coney head on it, and I know that as teasel. And teasel is, once you recognize it, and even if it's dried and you start to have a relationship with it, it's pretty powerful medicine. And the leaves are edible. The root is a Lyme disease cure, seriously, but be very, very careful in how you use it. And it's like the most incredible flower. Bumblebees love teasel. I mean, I've never seen in my whole life like bumblebees swarming a flowered cone head. I mean, like, just, like they're just excited and happy about it, and just love it, rubbing up against it and collecting pollen. And So I noticed that she noticed this and she was looking at it. And so I realized like she really needs a bitters. And so I'm going to be doing a yarrow bitter um, in a apple cider vinegar base. Um, and I realized I probably need to put some teasel leaves in it because the plant is reaching out to her. She's reaching out to it and touching it. So put a few of those leaves in there to help with just the bittering of the bitterness. Because let me tell you, teasel leaves are some of the most bitter things I've ever eaten. You're like, but so good for the body. The body just, and you know, I realized with Mary Bove, I was in one of her classes, and one of the things she highlighted was bitters, and it's something that I haven't really been making, and how significant it really is for you. So anyway, so you know, that's the kind of herbalist I want to be. Like people come to my property and they tune in to certain plants and herbs and trees, and not so much that I'm diagnosing them of what's wrong with them, but how do I utilize the different plants that they're reaching out to, that those plants are reaching out to them, into medicinal remedies or expressions or medicinal imprinting, or you know, there's a whole host of other things that's going on medicinally, you know, with herbal medicine and food and eating food. So anyway, so back to my story. So I've had this vision of this place that, you know, like I've wanted to live, and what it looks like and what my land is going to look like, you know, once I start building it, and all the parts of it. And still waiting for, you know, the money and the funding to finish, which, you know, who knows when that's going to happen. But I have a real desire now, you know, like I think there's stages of, I don't want to use the word manifestation, but co-creation in your life, where you have kind of a vision of what you want and what you want to do with your life. And then the things show up on your path to do. So, I mean, last 10 years, 12 years, it's been school, 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 right? Developing my mind to be able to do the things that I really want to do. And I'm kind of a perfectionist, so kind of I get, you know, I'm super ambitious, but I end up being like a master of things, you know, an encyclopedia of information. Um, so now I'm like in the process of where I feel like I've collected enough information that this land project, you know, even though I developed the land project first, is more viable now because I have all the experience, the knowledge, the education to be able to do it. So I'm ready. So now I'm ready. I'm ready to step out, find the location, move into the location, and start doing my scouting and feeling it out and getting to know people and being around people and feeling out nature, getting out and talking to it and asking it and communicating with it. Like, what does it need? What does it want? What its desires are? And how I can incorporate that into what I'm doing instead of going in like a trespasser, you know, and just sticking my flag in the ground and, you know, my conquest. It's not what I want. I want to move in, and I want to work with. Um, and so this is going to be my forever last part of my life project. This is like going to be my whole focus, and it's so amazing. I mean, if I get the opportunity to get the land and build this project at the end of my life, I'm just going to be so happy, you know, like, sorry, it makes me emotional, but, and then be able to have people come and learn how to do this, you know, how to work with nature, and how to be a steward and a co-creator, and all of these kinds of things, to go back to their areas that need this. They need love, and they need help, and they need stewardship, and how to actually do the labor, like get out of the paperwork, get out of the business, you know, building of the projects and all this other stuff, and actually get in there I tell people, like, my two best tools, three tools, is my 5 gallons, Home Depot buckets, my shovel, and a wheelbarrow, right? Those are like my top tools. And I think that I use them also in kind of an astral way in all the other work that I do. Like I'm shoveling, digging, restoring, regenerating, taking in, taking out, and collecting, and just all of that kind of stuff. So I've been talking to this herbal company in the Laramie area, because I'm trying to find, going on this trip, because I'm going to be living in my car to go on this trip, because I'm looking for work, I'm looking for like-minded people, because the state that I'm in, Nevada, it's just, at one time it was a powerhouse for alternative medicine. It had some powerhouse people here that were first on the scene, but it has grown into, cabal nation, and just been Californiaized. And it's just, you can't even, this is the part that upsets me the most. When I was growing up, I could just go out wherever I was at and walk the desert and see what the desert was doing, and the animals and the plants and all that stuff. I've always been this way. I've always been the way that I am. And now it's like I have to drive sometimes around developments for 2 or 3 hours and never find access out. And that this is not the kind of thing that I want to live. I don't want to travel to go on vacation and go camping someplace so that I can actually access nature and the plants and the animals and everything else. That's just not going to work for me. It's just not. It actually makes me panic. It makes me feel stressed out. I feel vulnerable. I feel raw. I feel disconnected. And that's just not a place, that I want to be. So I've been reaching out to different resorts that I find. I mean, would be a great job this summer, I'm just putting it out there, is being able to build a urban farm scenario, a sustainable one, a full circle one, for one of these big resorts out in the middle of nowhere, where they have people that are coming, so we have the chickens that lay the eggs, we're growing all the herbal plants, we're growing what food we can during, the seasons. We even have greenhouses where we can support some of the food. So that way they're not trucking in and out all of these resources, that they can actually grow those. And that's what I specialize in, is backyard food productions and urban farms, and how to make them as full circle as possible, And I mean, that would just be like the best job ever, because that would get me there. I could help build it, oversee it, put everything together. We could talk to the chefs. We could also use, if they have a spa, we can also use some of our things to make like a herbal waters, infused waters for the guests. We could use, a lot of the medicinal herbs for, hydrosols, and just amazing things that clients can spray on themselves, or they can spray on their sheets or whatever else while they're, being a guest. They could take a bottle of it just to remind them of their, just a beautiful experience. So, you could do a lot with a little bit, even out in the desert. So there's plenty of snow there. I mean, you could do a huge water collection. And so even in the summertime, if it's hot and dry, you would still have plenty of water to, create a food production, and like a small apothecary of non-toxic plants, that can be used in teas, and can be used in hydrosols, and can be used in like a nice little bathtub, and a lot of this different kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, so if any of those resorts in Wyoming are interested in something like that, give me a call because I can hook you up. Because even if I get up there and I find a place, mostly I'm just going to be hiking and doing herbal plants. So I've been reaching out to resorts, which haven't really responded to me. And I also have contacted herb company that's in Laramie in that area. So because I need to meet up with people who are of like mind. So that's what I'm doing. And also so I can meet people who wildcraft so that I can understand more of the plants and where they're at and their relationship to that area. So that's what you do. You go in and you build your relations, right? That's what my native teachers tell me. My relations, all my relations, my relationships to the new places that I want to be. So I was going to go on this huge trip around Wyoming, car camping. I definitely haven't been to Yellowstone since I was a little kid, and it has had such a huge imprint on me to this day that I'm hoping to be able to go through there and go visit the Tetons and go honor my last native teacher who was from the Teton area, Shoshone medicine man, who passed in 2016. So I want to go there and do some medicine work as well. And yeah, so I'm just super excited. So anyway, and the herbal medicine people got back to me and said, yeah, if you're coming, you know, stop by. We love to wildcraft as well. And I'm just like super excited. So I sent them an email back that they haven't responded to with the blog link. And about, you know, after I started talking to them, I started looking at Laramie and I was like blown away because the town is the vision in my head. The outlining area and the forest and just the way that it's set up, the vision in my mind. Over 7,000 feet, the vision in my mind. Just everything there, herbal medicine. I mean, I just was like so blown away. So I made this blog, you know, to go to Laramie. And, you know, I've been sending it out. And so some of my really amazing friends have sent emails back saying, oh my God, I went through Laramie in the 80s and there was just something about the energy there that I ended up getting off the, you know, highway and just going around the town several times for like hours, you know, because there was something about that area. And these are medicine people. These are people who have worked with native seeds, done native seed outgrows, who have, you know, maybe white, but have native teachings and have had teachers. And so this is a big, big thing for me, right? Because it's telling me this is where you need to be. So now I'm like getting impatient, you know, because I really want to get up there and I don't have a lot of the resources because COVID's been super tough and just a lot of stuff historically in my life that I've, you know, I have to be grateful for of these things that have come into my life because in anthroposophy medicine, we kind of look at even health problems as maybe something that you have to learn to deal with to sort things out because you may need them in a future life or you may need them a few years down the road. You may need those skills. You may need those teachings. You may need that training. So even, you know, looking at the bad and all the bad that's happened, you know, kind of in a different way that it's led me to now. So I'm starting to get impatient. So yeah, so my blog, so I just wanted to see if I can screen share and I'll put the blog underneath the video and I'm going to put this video up on there as well. And I have to see, that's not it, that's not it. Okay, let me see what we've got here. Okay. So first thing on the list here is, let me get rid of this stuff here because I don't really need that right now. Okay, so here's my blog. And Laramie, Wyoming, I need a place to live and grow food. And it just kind of talks about what I need, what I'm looking for, what I want to do in the future, you know, which is buy land there and do my project and all of that kind of stuff. So that's what I've got. And also, so super excited about that. So check that out for sure. And like I said, I'll put the link underneath the YouTube video, and I'm going to put this video on top of the blog. I'm going to add it to the blog. So we're good to go. I want to just bring people's attention to something. I've had a lot of positive people email me about, you know, Laramie and Wyoming, and it is exactly where I'm going to be living. I know that because it is something. It's a place that I've been dreaming about for a long, long time. I just had to become my dream. Has it been long and hard? Oh my gosh, you have no idea how hard it's been to hold to the path, hold to the path, hold to the path, get distracted, come back, get distracted, come back. You know, like everything that I've had to do and become in order to, I don't know if it's so much like fulfill my life. So anybody that wants to donate or help me to try to find you know, like a place to live. I don't know how long it's going to be. I would like to have a separate place to live in Laramie. Maybe like even a yurt is great with a little wood stove, so winter comes I'm good to go. But a place also that I can contribute to, that I can grow food, I can help out, and also yeah, so read my blog, and if anybody out there can help, I would be so unbelievably grateful. So yeah, so I'm ready. I'm ready to actually use my shovel, my wheelbarrow, and my 5-gallon bucket, and get up and be where I need to be living. And it talks about I want to open up a little clinic, and I want to have a co-op for food and medicinal herbs and lots of different things, you know. Yeah, it's all good. All right, so check that out. But I also want to bring your attention to something that's happened. And this happens on Craigslist a lot. You know, we're still dealing with, and having been human trafficked, I'm super aware of what happens to kids. I'm super aware of all of the really bad things and why 800,000 children go missing in the US every year. I'm totally aware of all of that. I'm also in my osteopathic work, I'm developing systems to work with the pelvic floor and the structure of the body to alleviate damage that has been done to the body because of being trafficked or sexually, you know, violated and harmed. So I think it's interesting when this kind of stuff pops up. So I definitely want to put it out there because we need to expose this stuff because of how sick it is. So on Craigslist, you know, like I put a picture on there with me and my dog so that they know what I look like. And so this is one of the responses that I got from my blog on Craigslist because I'm looking for a place to live. So I get this guy, his name is David Jones. Now, I don't know if this is a fake name. I suspect it's a real name and that this person is an idiot and that they're an elitist and they just think that everything goes their way and they can do whatever the heck that they want to do. So here's my relocating to Wyoming, a place to grow food. And it's through the Craigslist link you can see right there. And then he puts very open-minded, send sexy pics and we can discuss an arrangement. If not, good luck. So I responded here to him and I put sicko, right? Because he's a sicko. That's sick. It's super sick. Like, I'm going to send him sexy photographs. You know, like, are you crazy? You lost your mind. And who does that? I mean, not a normal person, but somebody who thinks that they're more important than other people, use their money to and their resources to imprison and oppress people, maybe even children. I mean, I don't know. So his response is like, so, you know, like, I'm not shocked by his response because he got caught. It says, stupid CUNT, go F off. Isn't that just like a nice, lovely response, right? Just a nice, just super nice, lovely response, right? And so I'm gonna, let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so now this is what happened. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to expose this person because they could very well be a human sex trafficker, or who knows? Who knows? I mean, you know, it's not going to be random that somebody is going to have the guts to send people emails. And plus, this person is trafficking the internet looking for something to fulfill his addictive behavior, right? He's looking for prey. He is a predatory, you know, predatory animal looking for prey. Super, super sick. So I decided to look up, here you can see right here, Dave Jones, Laramie, Wyoming, because that's the name that he sent. Well, what came up was David Jones, Laramie, Wyoming. And I apologize if David Jones is not the same person, but I don't know that. But I'm just exposing something, right? So that way people know that they may have a predator. And I wasn't shocked to find out that there was a David Jones that works for the University of Wyoming, because the way that he came at me on the Craigslist told me, if I'm going to profile him, that he believes that he has authority, that he makes quite a bit of money, that he feels better than other people, that he is probably sort of elite in the community, right? A little bit above economically than most people. And he believes that he's super important. So how I would profile him from the Craigslist responses would put him into a judge, attorney, a doctor, a dentist, or somebody who works, is tenured, maybe even through the University of Wyoming. So this is all, you know, hypothetical that I'm putting together here, but you know, I'm a big person. See something, say something. See something, say something. See something, say something. And I am not about to allow a predator in the new place that I'm moving to continue their predatory behavior on women or children, right? I'm just not. Part of my work is fixing people who have been damaged by people like this. Okay, so it's pretty interesting. And here, you know, yeah. I mean, the whole profile fits the guy on Craigslist. Totally fits the guy. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. University of Wyoming, David Jones, communication disorders, speech physiology, cranial facial disorders, dean professor. And also too, you know, this is the thing. How many David Jones or how many Dave Jones from Craigslist would actually live in Laramie? It's 38,000 people. 38,000 people. Okay. This guy fits the profile, how he looks and everything that's going on. So this guy, let's see. All right, they're doing a quick security check on Lincoln. Verify you're a real person. Oh, let's see. This one looks like it's the right direction. Okay, I'm done. Okay, let me see. All right. So then we have this other guy who is a instructional art technician at the University of Wyoming, who also his name is David Jones. And with this one, you know, not so much feeling it like, you know, but this could be, you know, like a lot of, you know, predators have pictures with children on their laps. So, yeah, so there's 2 David Jones so far. So I'm just putting it out there just because, you know, these David Jones should be looking and trying to figure out who the Dave Jones is that is a predator on Craigslist, because, you know, if you're a good guy, wouldn't you want to know? So yeah, so there's quite a few, just 2 people. There's the speech pathologist and the art guy. Which, you know, is pretty interesting. Okay, anyway, that's what we've got. And so I was going to look up okay, so let's see if we can find. All right, so anyway, I'm just, you know, all you do is you just kind of do a search and you try to find out. Oh, here we go. This is kind of interesting. Let's have a look at this. Let's see. So I'm not really seeing. Anyway, I'm just going to continue to do some more research. Like I said, if you are David Jones and you're a good person, you know, sorry to have added you in here, but I'm just doing my due diligence. So it may be up to you to actually find out who the Dave Jones is, who's a predator on Craigslist, right? Have maybe some law enforcement could look into that. And if law enforcement from the Laramie area wants to contact me, would love that. Please do, because obviously you have some kind of predator on your hands. And that kind of behavior is dangerous. And, you know, it's obviously somebody who is done it before, somebody who thinks that they are entitled to do something like that, and are preying on women to prostitute themselves for him to offer them what is he really offering them? Money? What's it going to be if you send him like pictures of your hooey and other parts, and so that he can decide whether he wants to F you or not F you? And then what does he do with those pictures? I mean, does he have pictures on his computer? Like, what kind of sicko is it? So I just wanted to put that up there too. And because, you know, like, I'm cleaning house, right? I'm cleaning house, and I'm exposing, and, you know, and I'm going to do this everywhere I go. You know, my job now as a person who actually works on people, who has rehabilitated myself from human trafficking, but now my job is to actually, you know, defend against that kind of human trafficking. He's looking for somebody that's going to traffic themselves, right? So what is he actually involved in? And, you know, somebody that comes at you like that, this isn't their first rodeo, so to speak. All right, everybody, that's all I've got for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. Oop, I got to do that.